Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast today, and a good one we have for you. Dr. Lori Hollins is OBGYN with the MetroHealth medical system, medical doctor, and she joins me this morning to explain why it's important for women to maintain a normal weight. And then we will hear from MacLeod. She'll talk about extended housing, a program which provides a home and a fresh start for those with severe mental illness. Later in the program today, author VaShawn Head will talk about his new book, One Man's Opinion. We'll get his opinion on his new book. I'm Leon Bibb. This is Kaleidoscope, and so we begin. Right now, we've got Dr. Lori Hollins of the MetroHealth Medical System. Good to have you with us, Dr. Hollins.
Well, thank you, Mr. Bibb, for allowing me to come and talk to you a little bit about obesity in women.
Yeah, obesity and women. It is a growing problem, is it not?
It's a huge problem. 30% of people in this country are overweight or obese. In women, 30% of Caucasian women are overweight, 50% of African-American women, and 40% of Hispanic women are overweight or obese.
How do we know when one is obese or overweight? Where's the boundary line?
Right. Well, there's a particular measure called the body mass index that looks at your weight and your height, and based on that, you can determine how overweight or obese you are. For example, if you are between 26 to 30, that's considered overweight. Over 30 is considered obese, and there's a whole graph that actually tells you where you fall into those categories. An easy way is actually just to figure out how well your clothes fit.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Ouch.
Yes.
A
little tight,
ouch.
Exactly.
What must we do to turn this tide? What's the problem area here?
Well, you know, there's a lot of problems. As we talked a little bit before we started, the activity level has dramatically changed. We're sitting in front of the television more. We're eating fast food. So actually, some of the things we need to do are to go back to how we used to cook. I mean, nobody cooks anymore. We have to be conscious of how much activity our children are getting. As women, we run our households, but we're the last people that we take care of. And so in doing that, we often do not exercise or eat what we need to, or eat the things that we need to eat. So it's really, it's a difficult problem.
This is where you are putting your emphasis in your job over at the MetroHealth Medical
Yeah, one of the reasons I actually got interested in is because I was obese myself. And I had a kind of what I call a come to Jesus moment, where I actually went to the doctor and was going to be put on 4 different blood pressure medications, and I said, oh, I've got to change this. So I started exercising and working out, and one of the things in my particular job that I see is that I deal with women wanting to become pregnant, and they can't get pregnant because a lot of times they have irregular periods because they're so overweight. So one of the first things I do is talk to them about losing weight, and they all look at me like, oh, you're fine, you never have a problem with your weight. And then I share my own story about how I had gained about 30 pounds over the years, and what I did to lose the weight.
In a thumbnail story, what did you do?
Well, one of the things I did was I started exercising more. The recommendations are at least 30 minutes of vigorous activity 3 times a week, but I found, particularly as I got older, I needed to work out 4 to 5 times a week. And doing high-intensity exercise, for example, weight training and cardiovascular exercise like walking and running. Actually, I actually became a marathon runner. Yeah, so that was one of the things I did. I also found that I needed to really change my diet. As women, we eat a lot of carbohydrates and a lot of bread because it actually makes us feel better. It affects the chemicals in our brain. So one of the things I did was cut out all of the carbs. I mean, I love bread, but if I have bread in the house, I'm going to eat the whole loaf. So I leave it. So I don't buy it.
Just leave it out.
I just leave it out. So I don't. Yeah, I don't buy it. So that's one of the things that I did, was really cut down on those kind of things.
We can drive down the street and you can look out the window and you can see the problem of obesity certainly in this city and certainly in this country, wherever I go in this country. When I was a kid, I didn't see it like I see it now. Well, what has changed since the days when I was growing up?
I think one of the things that has changed, a big thing is, for one thing, in school, you're not required to do you're not required to take gym. So the physical activity. So we're sitting the kids kids in front of the television. I think that's a real big thing. And the fact that, you know, our lives are so hectic that we tend to eat fast food. But even eating fast food, I mean, McDonald's has pretty good options for like salads and things like that. So it's about choice, and really it's about lifestyle. I think, you know, I think obesity is a lifestyle issue. And I tell people, I said, you know, you have to decide that you're going to change. And obviously, I think as a society, we have to decide that we're going to put things in place, like not have vending machines in schools that you know, sell food that's not good for us and that's not healthy for us.
I've got about a minute and a half remaining in this segment. I want to cover a couple of other things. We've talked about hormone replacement. Speak a little bit about hormone replacement, the risk of cancer with that.
Well, you know, there is an increased risk of breast cancer with hormone replacement. However, the studies are now showing that for short periods of time, hormone replacement can be beneficial, primarily for symptoms of menopausal symptoms like hot flashes and mood changes. So our thinking is changing on that. We are concerned that there is a slightly increased risk of cancer, particularly in people who have a family history, but we are actually prescribing it with caution, and it can be beneficial for some women.
One more subject we're going to squeeze in here in our final 45 seconds or so. Smoking. Nothing good comes from smoking.
There is nothing good that comes from smoking at all. I mean, smoking increases your risk of all cancers, including female cancers like cervical cancer, breast cancer, cancer of the uterus. There is nothing. It actually affects your fertility. It can affect how well pregnancy. It can negatively affect the growth of babies during pregnancy. There's nothing good about it. And if you combine that with being overweight, you're really in trouble.
Okay, Dr. Lori Hollins is with MetroHealth Medical Center. So her specialty is OBGYN, obstetrician, and gynecology. You can reach her office at 778-7624 for more information on everything we're talking about. There's a website at the bottom there, metrohealth.org/OBGYN. More information on everything we're talking about. Thank you so much,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Lori Hollins of MetroHealth Medical Center.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Good to have you on the broadcast. I feel better already. Just
Okay, thank
the
you.
doctor is in the house. We're going to take a break right now. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about a home for individuals with mental illness after we do these words first. Well, welcome back to more of Kaleidoscope. Glad to have you with us today. Extended Housing Incorporated provides a home for individuals with mental illness who are homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. Executive Director Karen MacLeod is here to tell us about the organization and the new facility located in Lake County. Karen MacLeod, Executive Director of Extended Housing. Good to have you with us.
Thank you. It's great to be here, Leon.
Exactly. Tell me, what is Extended Housing? What is it that you do?
Okay. Extended Housing is a not-for-profit agency. We were formed 30 years ago under the Lake County Adams Board. We're one of their service provider agencies, and we provide housing and housing services to folks with mental illness.
So you serve primarily Lake County?
Yes, correct.
How big a problem is this, housing needed for the homeless and the mentally ill?
We have over 300 people on our waiting list, and we go through that waiting list every year. We conduct homeless point in time counts every year. Our homeless outreach workers, we have 2 of them. They meet with over 300 people each year that are homeless.
Yeah. Where do you house the folks?
Okay. Throughout Lake County, Extended Housing has properties. We have 18 properties that house 94 individuals. That's throughout the county. And then we also work with other landlords and provide rental subsidies to consumers to live anywhere they would like in Lake County.
Because this, seemingly to me, it seems like such a big problem. How do you come up with the criteria to determine who gets placed and where?
Okay. And our application, there's a form on the application for a psychiatrist to certify that that person indeed has a severe and persistent mental illness.
You've got other programs in place too. I mean, other than housing as well, I'm certain.
Right. Well, we have the homeless outreach program, so obviously they have to be homeless and out in the streets. And we have a rental subsidy program for just the homeless and those with mental illness. So we've been able to house over 70 families that have been homeless on a permanent basis. We have a loan program, so if people are at risk of losing their homes, we can provide a no-interest loan for them.
Okay. We're going to continue our discussion with Karen MacLeod, but I want to put a phone number on the screen where you can get more information on everything we're talking about. And that phone number is 440-352-8424, as you see at the bottom of the screen. You can also go to extendedhousing.org, extendedhousing.org. That's the website, more information. As you go about your job, what is your vision for extended housing as you look down the years?
Well, it's not just about a home. You want folks with mental illness to be able to be in a home, because everybody needs a place to live. It's a wonderful part of recovery, but you want them to be a part of their community. So you don't want them to somebody just be in housing, just like you and I. We want to be a part of our community. Right. So that's the goal. That's the vision for folks, not to be in an institution, you know, unless it's absolutely necessary. But the goal is to be living in the least restrictive environment possible, and to being a part, whether that's volunteering, working part-time, contributing.
Yeah. Obviously, it costs money to do all of this now. So where does the money come for you to do what you do, serving Lake County?
Okay. Through the Lake County Adams Board has several levies that go on the ballot, so we get dollars through the Lake County Adams Board through levies. We get dollars through the Ohio Department of Mental Health, through HUD from the federal government, through the Ohio Department of Development, through our annual fundraising events.
There's a piece in Scripture that says, religious Scripture, that says, you are your brother's keeper. We are, aren't we?
Yeah.
And that's got to be a common theme through your organization, Extended Housing, that we're helping those who may not be able to help themselves. Speak to that a little bit.
Everybody is an individual, and it's seeing that person for who they are, maybe not where they're at, but for who they are and what they can give back. And sometimes people have lost hope. So I think we really do a good job of reaching into them and letting them know that we see them for who they are. And maybe your situation isn't so good right now on the outside, but we're here to help you get to a better place, and a place where you feel like you belong. And we have success stories, and we see people improve and to be a part of their community, and it keeps us going.
I would imagine if you can get them off the street, then you're able to sit down and we can talk and we can chart out a program or a pathway for a better life once they come through your facility at Extended Housing. Correct?
Correct.
Okay, well, good deal. Let me put a phone number on the screen, 440-352-8424. By the way, I'll ask all my organizations here, do you need money? I mean,
absolutely.
People can send money to the organization?
Absolutely, yes.
If they go to the website, they can see the address of extendedhousing.org, or they can make a phone call to a 352-8424 and make contributions for you to do what you do, right? Okay. Well, thank you very much. Karen MacLeod, Executive Director of Extended Housing, serving Northeast Ohio, serving Lake County, certainly. And thank you for what you do. Certainly the problems that you see on a daily basis are huge, that we all see on a daily basis, but you and your organization are really doing something about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You are blessed. We are blessed to have her with us today, talking about what she does, Karen MacLeod. Coming up next, we'll hear from author VaShawn Head. I'm back with VaShawn Head in just a moment. I'll be right back after this. Good to have you with us on Kaleidoscope right now. VaShawn Head is the author of a new book. It is entitled One Man's Opinion, and he's here to talk about his book and his inspiration for writing it. Mr. VaShawn Head, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
It was good to have another poet on the broadcast. I love poetry, and you've got this book, One Man's Opinion, so I'll do the cliche question. VaShawn, what is your opinion?
Well, I have multiple opinions, and I would like to challenge the viewers to see if they can express and and join me on some of the opinions that I have as well.
You wrote about a bunch of different kinds of things. Tell me about those things you wrote
Well,
about.
it's a collection of short stories and poetry. A few of them have some macabre endings to them, but I talk about what is age. I talk about being in solitude and being able to have faith and believe in love and finding love, different things like that.
And it does very well, I'm certain. What prompted you to write about age and understanding and love?
Well, these are different facets that I've dealt with over my life. It's a collection, as I said, that I've been writing for quite some time. I'm a man that believes in showing by example, and I'm a new grandfather. So I wanted to leave something behind, an accomplishment behind for my grandson, Phoenix Xavier.
Yeah. Where did you grow up?
Cleveland Heights.
Grew up in Cleveland Heights.
Yes,
and
sir.
Still in Greater Cleveland right now.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
When did you start writing?
Well, actually, I wish that I had a glamorous story to tell, but in truth, I started writing back in Cleveland Heights High School. That's where I graduated, and I had a teacher named Mrs. Levy who gave us an assignment, and I wrote a poem for her. She liked it very well. She held me to the end of the class to talk to me about it, asked me why I didn't do it more often like that, and then basically threatened me and told me she was going to fail me. Remember, this is my senior year if I didn't start doing it. So she actually snatched me and took me down to the high school newspaper room and told me I was joining.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea. Most of us who start writing, this is called One Man's Opinion, VaShawn Head's book right here, and I will tell you, there on camera 3, I've got it right there. And I started writing poetry when I was in elementary school as well. That's one thing I found out about myself. I thought I would find something. You don't mind reading something that you wrote, do you?
Oh, no,
I picked understanding. What about understanding?
Outstanding.
I think that would fit in our time period.
Okay.
This is called Understanding.
Caught in the turmoil of the heart and mind, and always thinking love is unkind. Then you meet someone like me, for I am for you your destiny. But there is another who holds you true, and you sit and ponder what to do. For this one holds you tight, suffocation indeed, and you think of others hold you with love and warmth that you need. But in truth, you know he puts fear in your heart, and you want to tell him to depart. I say to you, if this is what you want, then this is what I'll do. But the way you feel for me won't leave you, and when you are with him, you will want me. So please reconsider and be with me. But if not, I understand.
Ooh, that sounds like some real life, real life romance right there.
Exactly.
I learned a long time ago that sometimes when I wrote poetry in elementary school and in junior high school, the boys always laughed at me.
Yeah.
But the girls always smiled.
Exactly.
I learned that a long time ago.
Absolutely.
And I guess I shouldn't say. I'll leave it at that.
No, it still works.
Still writing poetry.
Yes, exactly. And I inspire that. And I wish that I could inspire amongst parents to get their children to learn a different form of expression, to sit down and encourage them to write.
It is a form of expression. You also have in here pieces of prose that you've written, your opinions on a variety of things. Talk about some of what writing does for you as you write your opinions.
Well, it allows you to learn freedom of expression, of course, and allows you to get out your feelings in a positive way. And it also, you find out more that when you write and you allow others to read it, that you're not the only one.
Yes.
You know, that a lot of people share their, your same opinion. However, a lot of people are also afraid to express those same feelings. It takes somebody to step up and lead sometimes for that freedom to be expressed.
VaShawn Head, where can we find the book One Man's Opinion?
Well, you can actually get One Man's Opinion on Amazon.com. You can actually get it locally at Max Back Books on Coventry or Visible Voice Books on Kenilworth Avenue.
What is it you feel when you write? Do you sense that a lot of your feelings are coming out and you get it on paper? It seems to have strength?
Yes, it also allows you to reflect as well as to clarity in thought, and it allows you to express and build your vocabulary as well, and it allows you a freedom that, where you're holding things in, you have it down and you can reflect upon it at different points in your life as well.
Do you talk to younger people about the importance of writing?
Often. It is very important to talk with them and to even talk with the older people as well. I mean, texting is so popular now, but to go back to, you know, full words and full expression is a very important thing to do.
Okay. You can find more information on what we're talking about by calling. Have you got a phone number here? We can use this phone number?
Yes, sir.
It is 216-849-3098. You see it at the bottom of the screen. More information on everything we're talking about with VaShawn Head, author of the book called One Man's Opinion. It is about inspirational writings, and it is about poetry, and about a lot of different kinds of things.
Yes, there's some short stories there.
And a lot of good short stories. I've taken a glance at it, and we're just glad to have you on the broadcast. VaShawn Head, author of One Man's Opinion, started writing when he was in elementary school and is still writing.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'd like to thank More Stars Production and you very much for having me on.
Glad to have you on the broadcast.
Have a good day, sir.
Take care, my friend. Take care, my friend. I'm going to take a break. We'll be right back. Ben Hobart of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland offers his thoughts on something happening with the Urban League after we do this first. Welcome back to more of Kaleidoscope. With us is Ben Hobart, who's with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. The Urban League is one of our partners on this broadcast. My good friend Ben Hobart.
Yes, sir. Leon, how are you? I'm pinch hitting for Marsha today, and she asked me to come by and share with everybody how proud and how happy we are that people turned out to vote on Election Day. And the reason why it was so important is because the Urban League mounted an effort to try to get people not only registered to vote, but actually to go to the polls. And as we know by the result of the election, that a number of people in Cuyahoga County came out to vote, and we're proud to say that we registered 1,000 folks.
And that is a right and a privilege of citizenship in America, to vote.
Exactly. And one of the things that the Urban League is doing too, even though the election was held on November the 6th, we continue in 2013 to register people. Matter of fact, the Urban League, the Women's Guild, and also the young professionals, they're going to be going out to high schools and trying to get those young people who are just beginning into the election process to register them to vote, so they'll be ready for 2013.
That ought to make your heart swell with pride, all of you at the Urban League, for what you did, because you and other organizations were really out there stumping for people to get registered to vote.
Exactly, and the lines were wrapped around the Board of Elections, even for early voting, and it made you feel good, especially when you spoke with someone who says, well, I've never voted before, but I'm going to vote now, or you overcome the objection of why they felt their vote wasn't necessary. So it's a great effort, it's a good feeling, and we're just really happy that the Urban League could assist in that manner.
I've got 20 seconds remaining. That has been one of the pushes of the Urban League for the last 100 years, about the importance of the vote. If once you get it, keep it. Don't let it go.
Exactly right. And again, 2013, we're expecting people to turn out to vote as well.
My good friend Ben Hobart with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. Ben has worked in television in this town for a long time. Ben, you take us out.
Oh, my goodness. Well, Leon, we thought that this Kaleidoscope program was wonderful, and we want you to be back again next week.
A weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.